Alrighty, Councilman Blevins.
Here.
Councilman Schlack.
Present.
Councilman Valerius.
Present.
Councilwoman Syke.
Present.
Councilman Lloyd.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Lally.
Here.
Treasurer Armstrong.
Present.
And Mayor McLeod.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We have a motion for approval of the agenda.
Motion.
Corrections.
Sorry.
Motion by Mr. Blevins.
What?
Are we gonna,
Wait,
this is where we would move into the consent agenda?
You can do it two ways. You can, because there's the argument you have to pass it, or you have to have a motion of support before you discuss it. So you have the motion of support, and then you change it around, and then you have the vote. That's fine.
Support.
Thank you. Yeah, it took me, I had to write it down as far as the order. Are there any corrections or changes to the agenda?
Can we move items, resolutions 1 and 2 under the consent item agenda under item D?
Under D, I have is there any further discussion? We have approval to move those items?
I approve.
Do we do another?
You could just vote on it. Ask all in favor, vote yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
What?
Chair, we also want to make sure that,
Yeah.
that these permits are subject to any further directives from the state.
So are you going to reflect that in the minutes then, Mr. Mizzi? Is that?
I was actually going to do that when you voted on the consent agenda items.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
absolutely.
So the first one is the agenda changes, and that's moving resolutions 1 and 2 to item D under consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Approval of the minutes. I have a motion. Motion
Second.
by Mr. Valerius, second by Mr. Schlack. Any questions, corrections? None. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Organizational business.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, once again. Just a real quick update, and we're getting some additional information out to the website, to the Facebook page, trying to get as much information out as possible. And so the first bit of news that we need to make sure everybody's aware of is that the City Hall will be closed to the public starting tomorrow morning at 8:30. That'll last until 11:59 on March 30th. We still have the Dropbox, and we'll make sure that there's enough information out there to provide to the people to how they can reach us. Phone calls, emails, we'll be able to address their issues for the building department. Drop-off box, I think we did a lot yesterday in the Dropbox. Today, still a lot, and we'll get that information out that they will not be able to come into City Hall. Employees will still be here to work, be able to answer any phone calls, be able to handle everything on the backside. When they, for the payment processing, they just won't be able to come in and deal with the people face to face. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you're trying to balance an act there. We had quite a few people come in yesterday. I think Maureen told me about 100 transactions at the window yesterday alone, and then today was a little bit less, but still quite a few as they were still coming in. This then led to some questions. A lot of this is so fluid. It's just moving parts right now, so we're just trying to keep up. I think yesterday I probably had 100 to about 200 emails. I'd say 195 were virus related, 5 were not, and I missed the one that was supposed to be sent to one of our carriers for something. So just a lot of information coming through as we're trying to handle that. Tom had a concern. We're looking at installation of new water meters coming up, and so that has been the installation of new water meters were set to begin in April. That has been pushed back to May 5th, and at that time, we'll go through the same process. Residents will receive the blue card with information and instructions to schedule their appointment. There are 2 more notice cards that will be sent out, but failure to change the water meter will result in the service water being interrupted. That we would be putting on hold any of that water shutoffs based on the fact that we're not doing water shutoffs now because people need to have hygiene, wash their hands. So that is not occurring. And we usually take a different approach to water shutoffs anyways, if we can. And so that'll be a change there. And then the other item on there if I don't behave.
Our city
if I need
administrator.
to behave earlier, so I apologize. But, yeah, the 5th-year anniversary for myself, how about that? So,
Hey,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
appreciate it, yeah, really enjoy being here, and, it's March 26th, I'll never forget that date, because that's the date of the, hockey brawl, Avalanche.
No.
Wings, so always a good day to remember, as a hockey fan. We'll try to get, we will get this information out. Again, it is changing all the time. I'm hoping tomorrow morning, we're gonna be able to get a little bit of a reprieve to be able to get some, information out and, get it to you as quickly as possible. I don't wanna take any more time, I'm gonna get to the, rest of the meeting so we can take care of it.
I do have a question, if I
Absolutely.
could. I just got some emails from West Bloomfield, and one of the things they were doing is that they're not allowing their inspectors to go into any occupied homes. Is that something that we are considering?
Good evening. Yes, we are considering that, and we are basically putting the rental program on hold. We are doing some that are scheduled for this week. I think we have like 3 or 4 left on Thursday. After Thursday, we will be putting the rental program on hold, at least for the short term. The regular building inspectors, are continuing to conduct business as usual as much as we can to this point. I'm not saying that we may not do something in the immediate future, but as of today, like I said, we're going to continue with the building inspections, the rental inspections after Thursday will be put on hiatus.
Okay, so I understand that, Mark, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we have, we've closed the rec center basically, and now we're closing town hall, but people are still gonna continue to work. Are they still gonna continue to work in the recreation center?
I believe Pat has some staff working there, doing some cleanup and things like that.
Some staff or all staff?
Yeah.
Well, that's my concern, is that this is their primary place of employment, and then are we doing something, if they're staying home, are we doing something for them?
No, real quickly, there's many things we do as far as painting and cleaning up the arena that happen usually before we get it open in September. They're starting on those things now.
Oh, very good, that's good to hear.
As well as the continuation of continuing to sanitize things. I mean, every single table and chair has been brought out, and that takes people to get that done.
Absolutely.
So between the cleaning, the sanitizing, and then continuing what we would normally do maybe in late July or August, we're getting a head start on some of that stuff.
Well, that's good to hear, because that's been a concern for many workers and people throughout.
As I mentioned, the people before being inconvenienced because of the changes, we don't want to do that to the people. If we can, keep them busy. We're trying to keep the work.
And the weather's helping. We're getting our outside staff out now.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, that was my questions.
Okay, may I have a motion to file and accept the,
I'm making a motion.
Mr. Lally? Seconded by Mr. Valerius. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That has carried. Public comments?
Yeah, real quick, I did correct the council, or the elected council, the department heads that were not on the agenda to not have to be here tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I did mention that. I hope I did in the email, that we didn't want people here who didn't have to be here. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, since there's no one here to make public comment. Have a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd. Seconded by Mr. Valerius. Are there any questions? No, we want to alter the approval of the parade permits and the solicitor permit. How do we do that, Mike?
Just gonna add, pretty much a caveat of, pending situations from the state of Michigan. It's really, again, we're dealing with a group, we could just say, hey, stay off the streets, governor's orders.
Okay, so
We'll
we're-
handle that in my office. We'll be in good contact with these people.
We'll make it a condition of the permit then.
Yeah, exactly, it's gonna
Okay.
be in just the permit part.
Right, approved pending further instructions from the state,
Yep.
or further edicts from the state.
Right.
Everyone concur with that? I think we're pretty well covered. I think we have the authority to rescind based on that. If that's the case, may I have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much. And we come to resolutions. Resolution 1, to concur with the city treasurer and that the mayor and council approve the city of Allen Park to opt out of the Wayne County Pay-As-You-Stay Pays program. We have a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Syke,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Lloyd. Any discussion?
I would like the treasurer to take and explain it for our residents.
So on the 2nd of March, our governor passed through a law, HB 5124. It's pay as you stay. And this allows our county treasurers to extend this, what do I want to say? I'm sorry. Tax reductions to poverty tax exempt residents. So the way it goes is a resident who has a house or a home in your city goes to the assessor, gets the tax exemption for poverty. They're awarded that at the board of review. And what that does is it reduces their taxable value. So at our level, once the taxes are calculated, they're getting a reduction in their taxes at the city level. Once this property becomes delinquent, it goes to the county. And at that level, the county then steps in and says, okay, we are going to allow you to go into this program, Pay As You Stay, in order for you to not lose your home. And at that level, they reduce the money that is due to all entities, to our schools, to RESA, to the city, to the county. And so at first I thought it was a really good program because it was saving people from losing their home. But in going to a meeting and discussing this with other cities, I didn't think that it was a good idea for the city of Allen Park to be a part of this, opt into this program, because there's no way for us to get that money back. We're getting a reduction already when we give them a tax exemption, and then we're going to get another reduction. And once you opt into this program as a city, you can't opt out. And so currently we have 9 parcels within the city that are tax exempt. 2 of those parcels are delinquent. One is delinquent for 3 years. One is delinquent with just the summer 2019 tax. So it appears as though our residents, our homeowners, are taking advantage of the tax exemption at our level, and they're pretty much keeping up on their taxes. The county has other programs that someone can get into if they're delinquent. So, looking ahead, if we run into a period of time where people are losing their jobs or the economy tanks or whatever, we could very well have more than 9 parcels that are qualified for the tax exemption and then go into this PAYS program. And ultimately, our taxes are reduced even more. Ours, the schools, the SET, everyone involved, all entities. So it was my suggestion to the mayor and council to opt out of this program and let people know that the county is willing to work with them with several different, they have, currently they have stopped the foreclosure process this year because of the virus, but they also have reduced interest rates, they have payment plans, some people can pay $100 a month, as long as they keep up on it, the county is willing to work with them. So it's my suggestion that we opt out of this and just, you know, let people know that there's these programs out here that the county is willing to work with them. So it's your
Very good.
choice to, you know, decide whether or not we want to go into it or opt out of it.
So it's your assessment, we already have programs in place to help people that are in this situation, and that ultimately, if we are hit by a bigger financial crisis, this is something that could seriously impact the city of Allen Park.
I think so.
Yes, and again, as I indicated, I was very appreciative because I know, quick discussion when this first came in, well, this looks really good and, you know, we should take advantage and be beneficial, but then further research shows that there's more there.
And you know, I talked with other treasurers, and there's quite a few that are opting out. In Kent County, their treasurer said, no, we're not getting involved in this. And that I had given the figures to Mark. I mean, there was like 21 townships and... Oh, okay. You know, there was quite a few. The whole county opted out of this. And I know that, you know, probably for several Detroit residents, it would be a good program, but they also stated that with the 32 poverty exempt parcels in the city of Detroit, if they were to grant them this, the state education tax alone was going to lose $500,000. So that is what was kind of a turning point for me when I heard things like that.
Because once you're in, you can't get
Right.
out.
Yes.
No, we don't want
But now,
that.
did you say that if in the future, we can opt out now, and if for some reason in the future we can opt back in?
They didn't clarify that.
Okay.
The question was just brought up, you know, once you get in, can you get out? And they said no. So I don't know what's going to transpire. This is something that is, you know, just new as of the 2nd of March. And they only are giving us 21 days before we have to notify them that we want to opt out.
Right. And I would think that with these other programs in place, I can only think of one instance where there was an owner-occupied home, and whoever was buying that foreclosure was trying to work with that individual because they were a veteran, and so, and I think in that instance, they had not taken advantage of any of these programs. So there are programs that exist out there, and again, really very much appreciate your attending the meeting and getting the other information and providing us with the information. Any other questions? Okay, well, hearing none, may I have a vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Resolution 2, to grant or deny special regulated use permit number 01-2020 and site plan approval for CNA Auto Care located at 19015 Van Born Road with the 6 recommendations from the city planner. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Lally,
Support.
supported by Mr. Blevins. Any comments or questions? Dave wants to come and talk to us anyway.
Yeah, no, just because I'll use it as a mild training session, first regulated use approval that's come before. Actually, you have 4 options in front of you tonight. You can request a public hearing, although there's already been one through the Planning Commission. You do have that option. Or you can approve the condition or the proposal. You can approve it with conditions, or you can deny. Or you can just move on without a public hearing. So those are really your 4 options. Ask for a public hearing. I don't think it's necessary in this regard. I know the planner met with both the real estate agent and the proposed occupant about 3 or 4 times, even before it went to the Planning Commission. So I think they did their due diligence there, but I did want to inform you, you do have the right to hold a public hearing if you see fit. I don't believe one's necessary in this regard, but you do have that option. I do agree that you can take the planning commission's recommendation, go with their conditions. You have the right and the option, you can put additional conditions in there. You can say the planning commission's conditions don't mean anything and put your own in there. So you do have options if you see fit to address any of the items in the proposal. So those are some of your options. I do know in talking to Chris, like I said, they met several times. I don't believe there are any major issues with the planning commission. The 6 items that he have listed on here are relatively minor. I can address any of those if anyone has any comments. It is in the C4 district, which is a regulated use. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you, 1 block away is actually the general industrial district. So even though it's in the C4, right next door it's actually a different zoning district. So you may want to take that into account. But I don't think the recommendation to approve is remiss. I think that this actually should be.
So we're all okay with used car sales?
I
That's usually
it is.
a sticky wicket.
That's
usually
why
in
it's a
most places.
regulated use.
Okay.
And that's why I want to tell you, you do have options. But I think in this case, that used car lot right there is really not an issue. There's, in the city of Dearborn Heights and Taylor, not 4 blocks away, there are similar uses in there. So if there's a good place to put a used car lot, I would say this actually is probably a good use for that building.
Right.
It really is.
If I could just comment, and I'm glad you came up, because you pointed out some things as far as the public hearing, and Pam probably remembers, or maybe not. We had an issue several years ago where somebody wanted to put a used car lot up near the Thunderbolt, and it was at the Old Tom's Landscaping. That, I don't think, was zoned for that, first of all. And there were a number of other concerns because of the location and its proximity to Ecorse Creek and the water and the erosion and all the other things, which is why I think Dave wanted to come up here and provide a little additional information. And we did have members who lived in the vicinity, residents who came to council meetings and were quite vocal in opposition. And we did understand what they were talking about, because even from an environmental point of view, where they're locating this business, I seem to recall there was a donut shop there, and it's virtually all concrete at this point. That structure has been vacant for years. And I think there's some other auto repair, there was a transmission repair shop,
Yeah, right
either
next door,
there
right next
or
door,
right next door. So it
logical,
fits in
yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
It's more fitting in that particular environment. And then I don't think it's even 4 blocks. I think it's 2 blocks when you get up to Pelham where you hit the other similar businesses. So better than having vacant property, I think.
Agreed.
I concur.
This gentleman that came up to the planning commission did a beautiful, is gonna do a beautiful job as far as the looks of the area. Gonna have a wall, you're gonna have a green, trees and stuff like that. We had a long discussion, and then we all decided that be okay.
Right, and
Everything is
just,
proper.
if the council members aren't aware, by charter and by law, a council person has to be a member of the zoning board of appeals, and Charles is on that, and on the planning commission, and Mr. Lally is on that. And so I think that's
Mr. Lally isn't on it.
on the planning commission? Who's on, you're on?
I'm on the
I'm
planning
sorry.
commission.
My name is still there.
I did miss it last time, and I do apologize. I just got confused with what was,
Who's on
when it
planning
was and when it
commission
wasn't.
before?
Yeah. I have one more
before.
question. Are they going to have to comply with the current stormwater ordinance of the county or Allen Park?
To my knowledge, they're not doing any, and I don't have the site plan, I don't think they're really doing any alterations to the parking lot. I think most alterations are to the building and the green belt itself.
Okay.
I believe
all.
they're not adding any existing hard surface to the thing.
We're just gonna rejuvenate the place.
Well, okay, I'll stop there.
Thank you.
And Tony threw me off by talking about it. Apparently he
For
attended
some
the
reason,
meeting.
they had canceled a couple meetings, and then I just kind of lost track of when the first Thursday was. So I do apologize to the Planning Commission and for my absence. That's
Any further questions, concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Now we have,
The chair.
yes,
And that was with the 6 conditions as set forth by the, okay, thank you very much.
now we have council comments.
I'll go first. First off, I want to thank all the volunteers that worked the election polls. I know I've been doing it for 10 years, and I know how some people can get with politics and stuff. So I want to thank you, all the residents, because there are neighbors and family that do that and take the day out of their time to do it. I want to say congrats to our high school cheer team for winning states. And then to our residents who are watching, to please make sure to keep on checking our Facebook page and our website for more updates on everything going on. And then I really hope that everyone will, during these times, think about their neighbors and friends, and especially when going grocery shopping. Like, I know that first weekend, trying to find toilet paper, I had to go to a gas station because there was nowhere in like Meijer and Kroger and all that stuff. But especially those who, I know Councilwoman Pam answered my question about the workers, part-timers and stuff, of making sure that, see if they're still working, and because there are people around this country that are getting laid off and all that stuff. So I just want everyone to just keep thinking about them, and like I always say, stay positive, and I hope everyone has a good St. Patrick's Day tonight. God bless. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank everyone who put together the list of restaurants and made it public, just so that residents of Allen Park, I encourage you, despite the fact that you might want to stay home and cook your own meals, realize the amount of people, business owners and restaurant owners that are really going to be taking a hit with the closures, and that are offering carry-out or delivery service. Utilize that, maybe have still one night where you order out and have food delivered, or go pick it up from a local restaurant. The list was, it may change based on other restaurants that decide whether they're going to stay open and offer a carry-out or delivery service that they might not offer. So, we keep that list updated, and it is available on, I believe, on the city Facebook page, and also the
City website.
Allen
right
Park
on the
website, yep. So visit that. It's a nice list. The numbers are there. It also gives you information whether they are open for carryout and delivery, or offering like a drive-up type service as well. So I encourage all residents to take advantage of that. Although you might not be able to go in there and sit down, you could still offer them your business. And everyone just stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless.
Okay, I'll go next. I know that this is a confusing and trying time, as we're being asked to change our way of life, basically. And so to, continue doing your self-distancing and hand washing and try and stay home as much as possible, all those good things that we are saying. But also I would like to ask you to be kind to your neighbors and to the people that you do meet. If someone coughs, it doesn't mean necessarily that they've got the virus. And so really take and be kind. Remember your relatives and your loved ones and your neighbors. Make sure that, that you check in on them a little bit more. And that the second thing, or the other thing that I would like to say is go out for a walk. Don't spend all your time watching television, worrying. Go out, get some fresh air, maybe open the windows of your house and let some fresh air into your house. And take this opportunity for parents. I know it may be particularly difficult, but view this as a time that you can teach your children something new. There's something to be learned from not just schooling. You know, teach them how to balance a checkbook, how to knit, how to clean their room right. So play games with them, get to know them a little better. So view this as a positive part of the self-quarantine. So everyone, please stay safe, please be healthy, and thank you.
Well, I don't got really much to say compared to what my other colleagues have said, or will say after I say this, but ultimately stay healthy. Know that even though City Hall will be closed, that they will be there to answer your phone calls. I will be there to answer your phone calls. I'm sure everyone else on this board will be here to do that. And I was definitely going to say, in relation to my son that's 1 year old, if you have other small children or other children, definitely take advantage of, just don't sit around and watch Netflix. There's a lot of things that you could do that you say, oh, I'm going to do this. Well, now's the time, better than later, and don't just sit around wasting time. And for all this, we will prosper. As a great man once said, there's no fear but fear itself. Thank you.
To everybody that's watching at home, I've spent a number of time in the last few days sitting on various conference calls and talking to different people, and the overwhelming message that I get from everybody and I hear is that we do need to stay calm, but we also do need to take this seriously. And the big thing is less so that we should be concerned about contracting something ourselves, but we need to be mindful of how we might potentially spread this. And I don't say that to invoke fear or anything like this, but it's just something that during these times that we need to be incredibly mindful of. We need to be mindful about the contact that we come in with people. We need to be mindful of the hygiene that Councilwoman Sykes mentioned. But just be aware of it, because the big concern is not necessarily the illness itself, but the fact that we are going to be able to handle it with our healthcare system. So again, I don't think that it's definitely not cause for panic. This is a trying time. As somebody that studies history, this is definitely something that we are living through historic times right now. And because we are living through historic times, I think that as we look back into these historic moments where we've gone through wars of nations, where we've gone through trials, we have always overcome them, but we have overcome them because everybody has pitched in as a nation, has pitched in on big levels and small levels to do their part. So the things that we can do on the small level is that we can try to limit our contact with other individuals. We can maintain our hygiene. One of the things that is, if people do have questions, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has a hotline. It's 888-535-6136. That's if you have questions about how the state of Michigan is administering to these issues. If you have health concerns yourself, then you need to call your doctor. If you believe that you are sick or you have symptoms, do not go to an emergency room. You call your medical professional and they will give you instructions from there. So these are all just very common things that we can do to try to help take part of this as a community. And again, like Councilman Schlack said, that this is something that we are being responsive of. I am incredibly grateful to our city administrator, Mr. Kibbe, and the actions that he has taken, and all of our department heads. I think that everybody has been taking the steps necessary to keep our community safe, and I am incredibly thankful for that. We are going to continue to move forward, and we will overcome this as a community and as a nation. So thank you very much, and everybody be safe.
As Councilman Dan Lloyd said, the coronavirus. I'm more acceptable to this coronavirus than none of you guys here. I'm the oldest guy here. But you know what? You gotta think positive. Always think positive. And don't listen too much of the news either. Just listen to the news one time, and just like Councilwoman said, go out there and start walking a little bit. I do. I walk every day. And just to get that out of my mind. Because, you know, that gets you mad. Because this is worse than 911, guys. This is a serious thing, believe me. And make sure that you wash your hands every time you go to the restroom, or every time you do something, wash your hands, whatever you do, wash your hands. If you're not close to the wash, carry this, what do you call? Hand sanitizer, you know, and that really helps.
Find that.
In my pocket.
Well, now we know where we can go to get some more hand sanitizer.
Oh, a guy from Tennessee, he's got 17,000 bottles in his garage. But anyway, just be healthy, be safe, and we will overcome this COVID-19, believe me. And I want to congratulate the cheerleader team for winning the state champion. God bless them. And happy St. Patrick's Day today. Think about the green bear that we used to go to the bar, but now we can't go to the bar. So anyway, have a good day. Have a good night. Thank you.
I'm not going to say much more than has already been said. We will continue to post information on our Facebook pages, on our city website. I think our plan is to put posters up on the doors after we are closed that will give residents more information as far as contact numbers. We are encouraging everyone to please use forms that are available online. You don't necessarily have to stop doing whatever you're doing or not proceed with what you want to proceed with. There are forms on our website for the building department, for the clerk's office, for the treasurer's office. Please avail yourselves of those forms, and they can be completed and left in the drop box in the parking lot along with any payments that are due. I would also like to take this opportunity to encourage you to please consider the automatic payment plans that are available to pay your water bills and your property taxes. The plans cost you nothing. You sign up for them. The payments will come out of your checking account, just like other automatic payments you may have set up for DTE or whatever. You are notified well in advance of the amount that will be withdrawn. So it's really no different than writing a check or anything of that nature, and it's automatic. And you can be on vacation in Florida and not have to worry about making that payment. So I encourage more of you to take advantage of those plans. I know that there are some people who may not have checking accounts. Again, now in particular, but even going forward, you may consider getting a cashier's check rather than coming in and handling cash and passing that back and forth to our employees. We will continue to keep everyone apprised of what's going on. I know we will get through this. We just need people to be mindful of what they do and how they are doing it and how they interact with others. Take the necessary precautions, but don't forget to live your lives, and don't forget to have faith, and don't forget to have a little humor. And hope everyone gets through this in a healthy, happy manner. Good night.
Could I add just one thing? I'm
Yes.
sorry. We just want to remind people not to put cash in that blue drop box. Please, just use a check or a money order or something. Do not put cash in there. Thank you.
Thank you, because I didn't think about that, and I wasn't sure whether or not you took those, so I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Money orders, banks are still functioning. You can still go in and get a cashier's check or a money order. So, and that can even be done through a drive-through. So, thank you very much.
There's one more thing, Mayor, I forgot to add, is that we still are having our parade, hopefully.
Conditional.
Unconditional. I think it will happen. Thank you.
You'll hear from the county.
All right, I have other business to convene into closed session for the purpose of pending litigation. Litigation is permitted under MCL 15.268. May I have a roll call vote? Do I need to ask for a motion?
Yes.
Motion to convene. Mr. Lally, seconded by Mr. Valerius. Roll call vote.
All right, Madam Mayor, I have a motion by Lally, supported by Valerius, to convene into closed session for the purpose of pending litigation as permitted under MCL 15.268E And we'll start in alphabetical order. Shall we convene Councilman Blevins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lally?
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd?
Yes.
Mayor McLeod?
Yes.
Councilman Schlatt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Syke? Yes. And Councilman Valerius? Yes. We shall convene. Thank you, Mayor.